God was there, made it clean. Somebody give God a praise. So he told them, verses 1 down through verse 1 through verse 5, to take and to go and to do and to just get up and just go on. You know, and like I said before, some people rejoice over the water. I don't rejoice over the water. I rejoice over the fact that I have Jehovah-Nissi with me all the time. You can run out of water, but I never run out of Jehovah-Nissi because he's always there. I never forget there was a time back when we lived in Texas that I was preaching along these very same lines, and we used to deal with refugees. They would come over from Bosnia, fleeing the Bosnian War, and they came over, and it was the assignment of our ministry at that time to open up our church and to teach English as a second language using the Bible. And so we did that, and I began teaching faith. I'm a faith preacher. If you don't want faith, don't hang around me, okay? But listen, I began teaching faith to these brand new people to America. And they didn't know any better than to believe the preacher who was telling them to have faith. Okay? And so one day, one of the men's wives came to me and she said, my husband is depressed. He's very depressed. I said, why is your husband depressed? She said, because he has no job. In our country, if men don't work, they get very depressed. Lord, how well do we need that here in the United States? And so I shared with her, I said, have your husband to be here at Bible study on tonight. I want to minister to him. And he came, and I began to minister to him in Bible study. And somehow or another, in our translation, like I said, we were teaching English. We hadn't perfected it, okay? And in our translation of words, I was telling him that God was going to bless him with job. And if you wanted a job, you need to get up and go out and get you one. I said something along those lines. Well, what did I say that for? That man, he didn't do nothing but take me at my word. He got up and went to a very exclusive area of our community. I started getting phone calls in my office about this Bosnian guy being there saying that Pastor Williams said, I'm supposed to come here and get job. After I paused on the phone for a little bit and I laughed for a little bit, but the lady at the place, she says, you know, even though we don't have any job openings or anything, we're going to take his application. But here's the thing that leaped out that I wanted to share with you. When you are walking with Jehovah-Nissi, and if you are in here tonight and you need a job, when I go out to look for a job, I am not going asking people if you are hiring. See, that'll sink in a little bit. You don't go asking them if they are hiring. You go asking them for the application. Why? Because you're setting something up for God to where even if there are no openings right now, I need to get the application in because Jehovah-Nissi is about to show up on my behalf. And when he shows up, I need to already have my stuff in. So in the morning, I don't care, wherever you want to get a job at, whatever you want to do, just get up and go and do it. Just don't use my name. Why? Because Jehovah-Nissi will be there. You got to hit it. You got to hit it. You got to smite it. Go on down. Watch this. Now, drop on down. You know the rest of the story. I'm running out of time. Pastor Kelly's looking at his watch. But listen here. But listen, you know the rest of the story about how Aaron and Hur, they were there, and their assignment was to what? Was to help Moses. Watch this. In a thumbnail sketch, some of us will have the assignment to fight. Others of us will have the assignment to serve. But all of us have a destiny for the victory. Watch this. Your victory, whatever it is, whether it's healing, prosperity, restoration, or whatever it is that you're believing God for, is directly tied in with how you serve. Notice, whenever Aaron and Hur let the arms of Moses down, that the Amalekites prevailed against them. Okay, I like what the scripture says. There are two scriptures from the end. He says, listen, I want you to rehearse this. want you to look at your neighbor and say, it's time for rehearsal. See, one thing about the saints that I'm learning, see, I'm 54 years old now, and I almost feel like I can do anything I want to. Not yet, I'm almost there. And so one thing that I have learned about church folk is that we get to a point to where we feel as though we don't have to hear it anymore. I have heard that before. I heard Bishop Series